Hey there, welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Minute. It's your daily show in which we analyze, scrutinize, and celebrate Solo, a Star Wars story, 1 minute at a time. I'm Alex Robinson from alexrobinson.fun.
I'm Pete the Retailer from PeteTheRetailer.com.
I'm Heather Antos from wherever you find your local Heather Antoses.
Is that the plural of Antos? Antoses?
It is today.
Well, thanks for closing out the week with us here, Heather.
Thank you so much. You know, I never realized watching a film 1 minute at a time would be as exhausting as it is. But
well, I also realized this is
it.
kind of the pod race slash droid factory, not in terms of quality, but just in terms of like I was looking ahead and like it's a solid, this thing takes up like a solid 2 weeks worth of shows. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's a long, I guess we're like halfway
train
through the
ride.
yeah, this
Train
is a long sequence. It's a good sequence. As I said to you guys before we recorded on Monday, like this is my favorite scene of the movie. So thank you.
Well, of course, we're talking about minute 35 of Solo, a Star Wars story. Minute 35 starts off with Han Solo hanging off a train. And it ends a minute later with Val crouching on a bridge.
Well,
so is it my... Go ahead, Pete. You start.
I was going to say here's where Becca takes out one of the gang.
Yes.
Right, at the beginning of this is what you were talking about.
So yes, Beckett shoots a speeder, and you think there is someone on that speeder, because to me it looked empty and...
Empty nest.
I was surprised that they didn't show someone going, you know, like more apparent that a pilot was about to crash. Yeah, usually love those cutaways where they
jump out with a parachute,
look out or whatever. Yeah. So I thought it was just the empty one that was left there by the guy who jumped on Rio's ship.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I thought,
that seemed kind of sad. Almost like you're killing one of the horses that's running alongside the train.
Is it the first one we see him shoot like at the beginning of the minute? Because I don't know. I kind of, the way it's like kind of sitting makes it seem like there's someone still in it, controlling it.
I assumed so, but I don't.
Because I feel, because it kind of hovers, right? And I feel like it wouldn't just like hover.
Well, that's what I mean. It just kind of, it's not doing any kind of evasive maneuvers or anything. It's just kind of floating along, which made me think it was like an autopilot or whatever. But anyway,
I think I see somebody there. I think there's.
You think somebody falls off?
They don't fall off. They stick with their ride.
Okay.
Up until it crashes into the rock. But I think before that, when you see him shooting at it, I think there's somebody sitting. You can see somebody with goggles there.
Oh, okay.
I think. I could be.
I didn't actually watch the minute, so I just assumed.
I didn't watch this movie.
No.
Well, now I want to go back and see what like the member of the gang that jumps on the back. What was their deal? Oh, they were in a sidecar.
Ah, the old sidecar trick.
So this could be the RIP to the I'll say it's a nice bar, but I've only been there when I was already a little bit tipsy, I think. Sidecar in Brooklyn just closed down, I think. But so who knows if it was actually nice? I think it was. They had delicious Brussels sprouts. But yeah, so this person jumped out of a sidecar. So this could be the sidecar, the empty sidecar that's getting destroyed with this person in it, in our minute. Hard to tell. But I think there's definitely somebody piloting it. So who could that be? I don't know. Who do you think they went back and had they poured one out for this member of the gang that didn't make it?
I think it was their first day and they didn't even remember that they got killed.
Whoa, harsh.
Wow. I was going to say the opposite. I was like, this is that person in the gang who kept talking about retirement and they were going to open a cantina. Ironically, they were like, oh, I'm going to open a cantina someplace cold. Not too cold.
He's not okay.
No.
Yes. Well, speaking of Rio, this is the famous scene where someone comes on his ship, much to his anger.
Yeah.
And he does a shout out to Harrison Ford when he says, "Get off my ship." Isn't that what Harrison Ford, doesn't he say that in another movie?
It's just, yes.
Get off my plane.
Plane, right?
He's
talking all those snakes.
Is that movie no, what movie is that? Air Force One.
Air Force One?
Is that movie good?
Well, you're asking the wrong person.
Heather, is that movie any good?
My father likes it.
Oh, damn. That pretty much tells me everything I need to know.
I've never seen it, so.
Other than Indiana Jones and The Fugitive, I don't know how too many other Harrison Ford movies I've actually seen.
I will recommend Morning Glory. It is great.
That's like a romantic comedy, right?
Kind of. Is it a rom-com? It's definitely comedy. He's a disgruntled news guy. And he's great. He's just a curmudgeon in it, and I love it. And he's in 44, right? The Jackie Robinson.
That's right. He plays.
He's really good in that. I like any film where Harrison Ford gets to play a curmudgeon old man. Those are my favorite.
It would seem to require less of a stretch of him.
Don't forget your Blades Runner.
Yeah, I saw Blade Runner. I saw Sabrina. I saw The Fugitive. A handful of them, but
a handful.
Handful
Solowitz. This is his full name. I remember liking Mosquito Coast when I was a teenager and I saw it, but I don't know if that holds up. I read the book not too long ago. That was decent. But it was hard for me to imagine Harrison Ford as the character in the book because they made some changes, I think, because they realized they'd get Harrison Ford. That doesn't help anything. That didn't add anything to the conversation other than me telling everybody I read a book.
I feel enlightened now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mosquito Coast may have been good.
Are they remaking that?
There was a show, I think, recently.
Oh, was it really?
They turned it into a show.
Any show or movie with mosquito in the title, no one's going to go see. No one wants to go see something about mosquitoes. Sorry, Harrison Ford. But yeah, I like this little shout out to another. I wish now that they had included more Harrison Ford. Like they really lean into the fact that they don't have Harrison Ford by including a lot of references to Harrison Ford movies throughout the production. I wish they did more of that. Like he's like,
it should have had.
I'm the only witness. That's another one I saw. Witness.
There you go.
I did see that one, and so on.
They could have had him lean over and start singing "Some Enchanted Evening."
Oh man, what they really should have done is written this whole script full of Harrison Ford one-liners.
Yeah,
whole thing. Missed opportunity.
Cowboys and aliens.
Yeah. See.
There you go.
Never
Real
saw it.
winner.
Everybody else is making these kind of reference jokes, and Alden Ehrenreich's going around being like, "I don't get it. What are you guys talking about?" Like he doesn't. It doesn't click with him because he's from a different universe.
They wrote all these jokes when they thought Harrison Ford was going to be in the movie, and they didn't take them out once they realized it wasn't going to be him.
Right. Well, about that ship.
Yes.
I granted, he's flying it, but Rio seems a little possessive for something he stole yesterday. He's like, get off my ship, and it's not like his, it's not like the Millennium Falcon or something like that to him, where it's like he's got an attachment to it. It's like literally, it's a truck that they stole yesterday.
Yeah, but it's his.
They bond very quickly. They're Ardenians. What is he? Ardenian?
Ardenian.
Yeah. They get very possessive.
I guess.
I mean, with all those hands, how can you not be?
He did call him grabby, so
maybe he meant metaphorically grabby, like he just takes things and makes it his.
I like the physicality of the hauler kind of crash landing on the train and then continuing to kind of slide along the top. I thought that was a really cool. The physicality of it, I thought it was cool. I feel like we don't see ships smash into each other very often. I guess it does happen during battles and stuff, but yeah.
I mean, considering he just got shot, that's a hell of a landing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we don't know about, Ardenian anatomy because I'm not caught up on season 6, but there it does seem like a weird, like, I don't know, maybe he can, if it is one of his shoulders, he can manage for it a little while.
Yeah.
But I also like seeing something that I don't think we've really seen is that external view, the viewing the firefight from outside the cockpit is neat.
Yeah,
seeing the way that it's
cool.
lit up from the inside with blaster bolts and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was cool. This, I feel like, is a landmark because is this the first time Han says the word Chewie?
Yes, because he said...
He's like, I'm going to have to come up with a
calling you that.
nickname, but we
Right.
didn't hear what it was, and now this is the debut of it.
And then he called him Buddy. He tried that out.
Yeah.
What if he was just called Buddy the whole time? And Obi-Wan is like, Buddy here's the co-pilot on a ship that could get us to Alderaan.
I don't know why that's 3PO so calling him Buddy.
Buddy, get us out of here! You know, he's like running around doing the whole thing.
Hey, Buddy. Does Han ever call him Chewbacca? Does Harrison Ford ever say the word Chewbacca? I feel like he always calls him Chewie.
You're right. I cannot picture a single time.
I feel like 3PO calls him Chewbacca. Luke calls him... Luke, I think, goes back and forward. Luke sometimes calls him Chewie.
Right. Lando
Leia says Chewie.
Yeah.
Leia insults him quite a bit, too.
Well,
Very rude.
But she never calls
him a lot of things.
Yeah.
Interesting. We'll have to, I guess, watch all these movies again at some point and figure out if Jabba calls him Chewbacca.
That's true. Lobot calls him Chewbacca.
Calls him. He's like, hey, Chewbacca, what are you doing? Still hanging around with that loser? Okay, cool.
Call me maybe, but call me Chewbacca.
I want to now go to read the Han Solo Adventures by Brian Daley again, because that's something I always want to read again, and see if they call him Chewbacca, if Han calls him Chewbacca at any point, or if it's all just Chewie from here.
Would that count as Harrison Ford saying it?
In my head,
since it was his Han Solo.
Yeah, because when they were being written, it was being written very much as him. Yeah. Or
and then Rio gets shot.
Yeah. I am tempted to pull up the holiday special script again and see if I can find it. But he doesn't even say Chewbacca there, I don't think. But I'll leave that for now. Let's talk about Rio getting shot.
I have a couple of questions about it. Specifically just that, do we see, how many times do we see, just as a quiz, how many times do we see people getting shot and surviving?
Ever or in Star Wars?
In Star Wars.
Yeah.
In the history of Earth.
In like all the movies ever? Oh man, this is going to be a rough one. 8
people in the history of the movies have shot and lived. So been shot and lived.
About several, right?
There's several.
I can think of 2 off the top of my head.
I mean, I'm like Kylo gets shot by Chewie's blaster, his bowcaster.
It's a good one.
Leia gets zapped in trying to break into the bunker.
Leia gets zapped. Technically 3PO gets shot, but
do training droids, do the like Jedi training droids, do those count?
No, droids do not count.
Whoa!
Sorry, I'm a biologist.
Later minutes, Alex is going to be up in arms about these droids pretending they have rights and all this stuff.
Chewie, I think, gets shot multiple times.
Chewie gets shot all the time. Chewie's a tank. I mean, are we just talking films? Because I feel like in the shows we see people get shot all the time.
That's probably true. Grievous, he doesn't survive; he dies. Well, the other question was, I can't remember another time where we see someone get shot and take time to actually die. Usually, if they get shot, true. It's like, okay,
oh, that's it.
I limp around for a while. But...
It froze all my blood. Like,
So usually if you survive the initial shot, you'll be okay in the long term. So
he had to land the ship. He had to land the hauler. He had to.
No, I think it's good, but I think it's very realistic because I don't think most of the times when, people get shot, they don't just instantly die. I feel like a lot of the time in real life, they probably roll around the ground clutching their wound and screaming and so on.
No, I mean, I think that's very fair, especially because in Star Wars, obviously, we see a lot of lightsaber death, and that's a extended death. I mean, like you think about Qui-Gon's death, right? Like he stuck around for a bit there before he finally, called it. So hell, Darth Maul survived being cut in half. So One might say that's a more powerful wound than a blaster bolt, but who am I to say? Who am I?
It does give you the impression that if Obi-Wan had just brought Qui-Gon to a hospital, they could have given him a moderation and he could have survived that thing. If Maul gets survived getting cut in half, that's a heck of a thing to come back from.
Well, really, he in hindsight, he should have dumped Qui-Gon down the same shaft. But then you get a weird like hybrid thing where it's like Obi-Wan on one side and Qui-Gon on the other. I mean,
it's like
Qui-Gon on one side and Darth Maul on the other. Yeah,
it's like cat dog, but like
right. And they're arguing with each other.
The dark and light side of the Force. Yeah. No, I see it.
They're a triad. No, what is it? A dyad.
A dyad. Yeah. Oh my god, that is the sitcom I want to see.
Maybe it'll be the Kenobi show, the Obi-Wan show.
The odd couple with the Qui-Gon and Maul.
Right. Although first, before anybody gets there, there's several episodes of them just lying in a pile at the bottom of the shaft.
Right.
Like, this is your fault.
It's like a Sanford and Son, but with Maul and Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
Shut up. Have you seen my legs? But yeah, I forgot. How did we get here? Oh, we were talking about Rio getting shot, which I think
Rio gets shot.
Right.
Rip.
And well, who knows? At this point, we don't know. He might survive. We don't. In this minute, he ends with him being alive. So I'm assuming he's getting the medical attention he deserves.
Right. Yeah. They spray him with some Bacta or something like that. There's probably. I mean, I don't know. Would an Imperial hauler have that kind of medical, kind of medical thing inside of it?
Now you have me thinking, what is a Star Wars version of a first aid kit? What is in that? Right? We have antibiotic spray, right? In our Earthbound kits, but they have to have like some kind of like Bacta, like
a hypo
spray or something, right? Like that makes sense to me. That like it won't save you, but it'll maintain you.
Yeah, you think there'd be like a they could put you in like a Bacta bag or something.
Like Finn,
a sack,
Finn naked leaking bag.
Also, it's weird the Millennium Falcon in Empire Strikes Back specifically had a clamp to put on the end of a severed arm. So that's something that I guess in the world of lightsabers, although by that time lightsabers haven't been around for 20 years. So
yeah, I mean that to me is what's the story where Han felt he needed that. That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah, or Lando might have been there from when Lando was there.
Who left that behind?
I think
Duquesne brothers.
That was there for the for the hydraulic systems or the hydronics. What is he? The kind of fluidics. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's their part of the ship, and it's like a hose clamp with like
They MacGyvered it. He just kind of
essentially
wrapped duct tape around his arm.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I don't know. I guess though, with how many like cybernetic body parts are floating around in the universe, it's just kind of like
that's true.
It's fairly ubiquitous, like
it's true. Yeah, everybody just has like one. It's like it's like a yellowed box. It's on a shelf somewhere. It's like, I got one of these. I never thought I'd have to use it, but it's like, it's from like, 26 BBY and it's all dusty and it's like, oh, all right. Severed hand clamp.
Do you think he got it back? Do you think they put it back on the Falcon after Luke got his fake hand?
They probably got it. He probably build the rebellion for one, right? He's like, I got to get some new. Do I fill out a requisition form or what?
Build a rebellion.
Far.
Yeah, medicine in Star Wars. Who knows what they'll think of next? Anything else we want to talk about for minute number 35?
No, it's all I have. It's pretty. Oh, they tripped the sensor, which is interesting because we were talking about when they open the hatch tripping, at least alerting the range troopers that are inside.
Yeah.
But now they trip some kind of sensor that I don't know if it's an automated system or whatever. It's odd that they didn't, when the troopers came out, that they didn't let sound an alarm. They didn't let anybody.
These guys are terrible.
They are. They're the worst.
Well, plus so few people probably rob the train that they just don't know what to do.
Well, I'm just like they've gotten lazy in their eliteness.
Yeah.
Like they're, they talk the talk, but
they're like the Jedi.
That would have been funny. They showed them climbing up. They're all like overweight and huffing and puffing.
I'd say I'd say they talk the talk, but can't walk the walk. But they did walk. They did a lot of walking. So
they did do a lot of walking. Very little talking.
Very little talking.
Hey,
like
you!
They can walk a walk. Maybe not the walk, but they can walk a walk.
They can Ewok the Ewok, but they can't anyway. They can walk the Ewok. Anything else from it, or Heather? Anything else for Solo in general? Anything else you want to? Anything that's going to happen in the future? You want to like have strong feelings about L3 or
oh my gosh.
Things you missed to look out for?
Dryden Voss.
Things you missed that you wanted to chip
in
on?
No, I mean L3 I think is such a gift to the Star Wars universe. I mean, anyone who knows me knows my obsession with droids, and the fact that obviously I'm sure you guys will get into this down the road, but the fact that Phoebe Waller-Bridger like didn't know what a droid was when she auditioned is just like one of my favorite Star Wars facts. And it's all about the revolution. So
yeah, Viva. Well, all right then. I guess in that case we will wrap things up, and we already covered both of the plugs I was going to do this week. So let's plug our separate shows. Let's plug our the solo podcast we do. They're not solo.
Not solo.
I do with my brother. My brother and I have teamed up to go through The Godfather 1 minute at a time, and we release 1 minute every week. You can check that out at godfatherminute.com or wherever you get podcasts. We're currently about an hour into GF2. We're finally back in Little Italy, but old time New York, back in the early teens. Technically lives in the east side, Hell's Kitchen, not Little Italy. You would think.
But, wait, Hell's Kitchen is the west side.
Side.
Yeah, sorry.
Unless you're in the Marvel Netflix TV show, in which case Hell's Kitchen is in Brooklyn, but
But you have a Star Trek show.
I do. I hinted at it earlier in the week that I do a Star Trek show on the side with some of my friends. We go alphabetically through all the episodes of the original series, and it's called ABCDTOS. And we are perilously close to the end, and we will we'll see where we go from there.
From the edge of tomorrow.
Yeah.
Heather, what podcasts can people find you on these days?
Oh my goodness. A lot of them. And I list them all. Actually, if you go to my website, heatherantos.com, I have a tab on there where I post every single podcast I appear on.
Wow.
So, or at least the ones that send me links. So, you can definitely, if you want to hear more of me talking about Star Wars, because it's a lot of what I talk about, definitely check them out. But I also talk a lot about comics and occasionally true crime. So, check it out and stuff.
All right. People should go do that to check those podcasts out and check us out on Monday with another brand new Star Wars Minute.
Brand new Star Wars Minute.